What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to everybody. I don't know where to begin today. There's so much going on. I mean, we're looking at silver trading up 6%, up at $24. We said last week that 24.50 was probably actually a place that we could impulse into if we broke out of this consolidation, and where to be looking for the profit. That's on Friday's live stream. If you just want to go check that out. But don't leave us. Don't leave us. Or do I start with gold making new all-time highs, right? Where do we start? You could see over here that gold is actually, this is just not a random circle, but a freehand circle I drew of where I expect a retrace could happen at any point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe gold's going up. I don't know. We'll take a look at it. But do I start here, right? Or do I start with, all right, well, it looks like over here that we're seeing the market so far hold this trendline support. That looks good. We'll talk about that in a minute. Fed's buying, stocks goes up. Or do we talk about Bitcoin starting the new bull market? Where do we begin, right? So we'll get into it all, because there's so much going on, including the DXY, which is getting slaughtered, taken out. Look, we took out 94. When I saw that yesterday, I think it was sometime before bed, I said to myself, wow, look at that move already happening on the dollar. I took some beautiful profits here on the euro US dollar into the trend line over here, right around 1.1714. And since we've broken through and are piercing through that, is that a breakout over here of a 12-year trend line? We have so much to talk about. It's ridiculous. There's one thing I would like to know more about that I don't. So, I heard kind of whispers of that there was a second wave occurring right now in Spain. That's something I said all along, that if that occurs, that's a worry. That's a red signal for us. We would need to think about what that means as far as positioning, but in an FX. But we're not going to do that today. But I need to know more about that. I need to know more about what's going on, and it's time to pay a little bit more attention. We're going to focus right in on the charts this Monday, though. And we're going to be taking a look at what is going on, how to continue to position ourselves, and just mainly keep everyone on the right side of the market, because a lot of people are on the right side of the market. That's awesome. So, it's too much. This is too much going on. It's unbelievable what's going on. And that's going on in the markets as well. There's a lot of, inflation of asset prices going on. That's going to continue. By the way, let's start here. We're going to get into silver. We're going to get into gold. We're going to get into the dollar. And we're going to get into actually the Japanese yen. We're going to give a strong focus on. By the way, I hope some people took this trade on the US dollar Mexican peso. I believe you all did. That one is also humming along. So there's so much this is going to be a great session. I'm happy to be here with all of you. If you are here right now and you haven't already, please go ahead and smash the like button. Help support the channel. Do appreciate that very much. All right, here we go. Boom, boom. Speaking of boom, boom, before I even get started, we're going to start here with this small clip from Anthony Papalano. And it's about a 90-second clip, and it's the highlight of this great video where he just released over the weekend how everyone's getting rich, why millions are losing their jobs. Really. So here we go.
Situation. So socialism for the rich, they are showing us that they generally do not work for us. They're about to buy up our assets with our money. So this is by far probably the biggest thing that people miss, in my opinion, about all of this is I've got a friend, Travis Kling, who said that monetary stimulus or quantitative easing is just UBI for rich people, right? Quantitative easing is just universal basic income for rich people. And what that means is when you print a bunch of money and you inflate asset prices, what you're doing is you're bailing out the rich. But when you bail out the rich, everyone looks at the asset price inflation, and they know the top 50% of Americans own those assets. So it's very clear that you, quote unquote, bailed out the rich. But the flip side of that, and a really important point, is inflation like that through this quantitative easing is a massive hidden tax on the bottom 50%. And so what you're literally getting is the rich are getting richer faster and the poor are getting poor faster. And so this socialism for the rich, it's not just socialism for the rich, it's actually socialism for the rich and a punishment for the poor. And so what we are seeing is a government that is optimizing specifically to bail out the rich and punish the poor. And they come at it with, oh, we gave you $1,200.
So, and by the way, the calendar over here, we do have on Wednesday the FOMC statement and then press conference. Do I think it's going to have much of an effect on the markets? Listen, if there's going to be any effect on the markets at this point, I think it's going to be a dovish surprise. That's my opinion. So they're not going to do anything whatsoever that could jeopardize any type of recovery because the economy is so fragile. So, good morning. Good morning. The middle class, we've seen the destruction of the middle class in my lifetime. It's absolutely horrific. The Fed and the Federal Reserve banking system, this dollar debt-based fractional reserve system, do watch The Creature or read The Creature from Jekyll Hyde. If you have not, that's the first rabbit hole I ever went down. The greatest evil in the world is the Federal Reserve because it's the root of all of these problems. It is entirely unjust. All right, so we have the markets opening up slightly bid here this morning and continuing to hold this trend line over here. This is kind of an easy guide over here right now. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, yeah. So everyone's aware of the surroundings. Everyone knows what's going on with the stimulus should be passed. Obviously, at least a portion of it pretty quickly. It's coming, whether it's 1 trillion, it's not going to be 3 trillion, but it's going to be a large amount of money, right? What happens anyway, right? When the Fed is printing, stocks go up. Do I think that asset prices, stocks are going to continue to rise? I certainly do. And if they're rolling over because, things are just taking a turn where for whatever reason, we're seeing, the markets reflect the reality of the economy. They're two separate things. So, I guess what I'm getting at is right now we remain with that continued thesis that equity prices here are in a risk-on environment and will continue to rise. This looks good if we consolidate or drift lower into this area of support at all during August. It is a buying opportunity right over here from where we are right now. At any point, I think we could reach our next take profit, this resistance at 33.20. I think the equity markets are risky. And when I say that, and what I mean, and what everyone knows, is that right now the place to be is Bitcoin that just broke out to its bull market. The next 18 months are really going to be beautiful. And it has been since its March lows, by the way. Bitcoin is up a ridiculous amount off its March lows. It is absolutely the best performing asset in the crisis, meaning since the crisis, it's the best performing asset, bar none, right? And also, anyway, I lost my train of thought. Ethereum, by the way, we need to speak about also right now because Ethereum is on a tear. We first mentioned it, sometime last week in the live stream. Into the support here at 215, I was leaning in and buying some Ethereum. It's almost up 50% in just a few days. Alt season is upon us. If you haven't seen the video on the channel released on Sunday that talked about cryptocurrency, actually altcoins, and it got into Linked and Tezos. By the way, today Linked is down 5% off its high. It looks like it's down 20%. Is this where you're a buyer? I am. I stepped in over here and I bought, right? Because I saw it was down 20% and I want it in this, I want to go with Tezos and Linked, and now it's down, again. And I leaned in again. So you got to train yourself as you do. And we're going to get to gold and silver in a second. You have to hear same thing with Tezos. This is, a place I leaned in to buy and now buy some more, right? And because they're down, and am I buying Bitcoin as it's rising? I added over here. On this test. I was watching that in the 4 hour over here. This is where I added to Bitcoin. And not only that, then on Sunday, when other brokers like FX Choice became available, added more as soon as that market opened right there as well at that same price, because that's I've been leading us all along to the breakout of the trend line. The first retest, sure enough, I'm taking that position. Do I think you should be buying Bitcoin now? Well, we're coming up into that 10,400. I mean, I do think that we're going to smash through this 10,400. And not only do I think that, as I said a couple of weeks ago, it was only 2 weeks ago, right? That I said, and then I think that we're going to come into 14,000 pretty quickly. Now, we'll see how it all unfolds. But that's our next target. Once we break 10,400, it's 14,000. So Ethereum as well. Ethereum is getting close to this 358 resistance. When we held this support, I mean, obviously that was the next target to looking at. Are we coming in really hot and quick? Yeah, that's awesome. Do I think that we just continue going straight up? No. Am I looking to continue to add to any positions I have in Ethereum? Well, I mean, right now I'm holding now and already added. So, by the way, obviously a different live stream, but we have to be talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum because this is where we are. So will I continue to be adding? I did add over here also to this position, and I'm holding this position. I won't add again on Ethereum until it experiences a pullback. Why I say pullback, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what type of pullback, whether it's 20, 30% that I'll be looking to buy on Ethereum. I'll be figuring it out. I'm not looking to do that until we break this 358 resistance and or, from whatever level start making that pullback. But I will not add to it again until we not only break this resistance at 358, but then experience a pullback. That kind of brings us to where we are right now on silver. And by the way, so that means, yeah, you're a buyer here on Bitcoin, right? Breakout, retest, resumption. That was about what happens to 10,400. What happens if you break above 10,400, get a retest, and then resumption? Am I adding again? I will be adding again for sure. Another Bitcoin position once we break above 10,400. Again, that's the confirmation anyway of the bull market. I mean, I feel confident in calling and did that the bull market began on the break of this trend line. But that's just another confirmation that is going to happen. So that leads me to silver now, because silver is into this resistance. We were saying, this is what we were looking for at this point. Silver becomes, in order to be able to pick up a further position on silver at this point, you need a sustained pullback. And gold also is trading up into this area, this circle that I have, that as we got close, this circle came from this area over here on the all-time high on gold. And normally as an asset reaches all-time highs, whether it's just before, right at, or sometime thereafter, it experiences a pretty sharp pullback. So I'm looking for that to occur. That will be the next time that I take up a nice position in either gold or silver. Will be on subtype of sustained pullback. And how high they go from here, I think we're towards the point now where they're gonna be topping out. This was the take profit area, right? That was the take profit area. So, but we are seeing that flow now into Bitcoin, and I did talk about how you're gonna see gold doing all the hard work, right? And then after gold, broke that resistance, went to back to yearly highs, 8-year highs, and now all-time highs, that silver would then catch up after gold did the hard. And now it's Bitcoin's turn. Not only Bitcoin, obviously all cryptocurrencies are perking their heads up, and there's going to be some really crazy asset price inflation taking place in cryptocurrency. I think the overall market hit, what was it, $300 billion. I don't know what the market cap of Bitcoin is. I'd rather just follow the market cap of Bitcoin and not of other cryptocurrencies, because it's kind of random, subjective how you make the market cap of like any altcoin. But Bitcoin, it has a legitimate market cap, We're looking for that to go to $1 trillion first. That's a huge milestone. And from there, what is it going to during this bull market phase? Is it going? I don't know. Is it going to 2 or 3 trillion? We'll see, and we'll be tracking it all. But this is just getting started. This is the first day. The world didn't really notice or care. The world did not really notice or care. But Bitcoin just over the weekend, just yesterday, confirmed the bull market phase has begun of Bitcoin, and right on schedule. And this is, let's go back to Plan B, and let's go back to his chart of how many more months. Here it is right here. Perfect. We're on the second red dot right now. These red dots are in proportion to how many more months until the next halving. This is the roadmap right here. This is the roadmap. This is what is going to help us get out of this. And it's going to take a lot of technical analysis, and that's what it's going to come down to. But knowing when you're looking for the reversal, right? Even if it's for a period of a few months, that's helpful. So what else? We want to get to the dollar, but let's get to the dollar, by the way, which is just breaking down ever since we lost that 94.64, right? We're just seeing that sustained push. It met our near-term target. It met my near-term target right down over here, right? That was around 94. Once it broke 93.83, from here, do I think that we keep going? I don't know. Let's see what happens. The way that you could, obviously, I'm playing this mostly through Bitcoin and then gold and silver, but a weak dollar. But we'll see it showing up. Even the yen, and we're going to talk about the yen today. The yen breaking an important support level against the dollar, right? That's bringing the yen index up. Do I think that this is a sustained break versus the dollar? Look, the dollar broke an important level, not here versus the US dollar, Japanese yen, right? Which we're going to be looking at. And this is offering an opportunity. Well, it did already. This wasn't on my radar, by the way, but look at that. The hold off support, and then look at that entry over there. Are you going to get another retest and a possible resumption down? That opens up an entry again for sure. Watch that. But what's important is not only the US dollar, Japanese yen breaking important support over here, it's the euro US dollar breaking this important support. That's 12-year resistance. 12 years resistance going back. And what's weird for me is this is when, right around the time that we started QE the last time. So that trend line is broken today. That means we're going to, in my opinion, have the potential, if this holds, to see a really big move against the dollar and further US dollar weakness, right? That's what everyone wants at the end of the day anyway, at least the Fed, who just wants to keep the USA solvent, right? So everything, are we going to see a turn in the dollar? Or when could we think about seeing a turn in the dollar? At this point, there's absolutely, and we all saw over here these explosive moves on the dollar both ways. We all were a part of this. We all traded through this, right? This was the break of that channel descending wedge that set it all off, right? There was some bit, and yeah, we could. I'm not saying we can't spike up, but right now on the DXY, we need to be trading, minimum above 95 at this point to even think about any type of reversal on the dollar. This trend line over here, really, as long as you remain below that, then the longer term downtrend of the dollar remains very strongly intact. Now you're going to see some type of consolidation over here now that we've reached this level, 93.80. A close above that means that support's holding. Could we see a little bit of profit taking? Does the euro US dollar not maintain that breakout today and trade below that resistance? That's the key to know whether or not this is a good breakout or not. The break of that resistance has set off for us like, all right, now we're looking for the buy side. What do we look for? A successful test of that broken resistance. If it holds that support and then resumes up, then we get long, right? But do you short here? Is anyone looking to short the dollar right now as it enters a period where it might at best consolidate and maybe even rise up a little bit, right? I mean, that's uber counter trade. That's not how we do it, right? Wait for your pullbacks into resistance when selling, support when buying. That's all you do. That's all you look for. But is this a profit? For me, this was a profit taking this morning on the euro US dollar. As we came into the area of resistance, we broke through. If we hold that and resume off, I'll get long. That's a good trade, and I'll be all over it. So let's take a look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Let's take a look at all yen pairs. We're going to give a strong look because the yen today is relatively strong, especially versus the dollar, right? Also the Swiss franc. Let's take a look at the Swiss franc, Japanese yen as we start getting into all yen pairs. This is down a percent today, right? Now the long-term trend, in my opinion, is long Swiss franc, short Japanese yen. You're seeing now a big retrace. What is that? 2% off the high? Like, not even. It's only 1.35% off the high over there. You're into an area of support, looking to buy any resumption off of that. So although down today 1% and a big move for the Japanese yen, and the Japanese yen also had a big move here on the dollar, up 0.63%, breaking that important support level. This could continue. The yen could continue now and can move much lower. The yen could come down, if this dollar, we're seeing huge levels on the dollar possibly be taking out. Let's watch if the euro US dollar holds today or not. And if the euro US dollar doesn't hold today, my assumption is that it's going to come over and test this resistance for a while before it breaks through to the upside. There's a good chance of that happening. What happens for me to become bearish on the euro against the dollar? The first thing that has to happen, by the way, we haven't even broke this parabolic move over here, right? So think about that. But once we do break that, at that point, I'm looking for some type of pullback into this trend line. And it's not until this trend line is broken that I would say, all right, now the euro strength is over, dollar strength is coming back. It's time for some type of move on the dollar. If you're learning anything new, by the way, or enjoying the time we spent together, happy to be here alive at all, go ahead and smash that like button, help support this channel. If you're new, definitely subscribe so that you're alerted when we go live every day, 9 o'clock a.m., a half hour before the U.S. equity markets open, which are open in about 4 minutes, but equity markets haven't really done anything since we've been online. And again, equity markets are not exciting right now, and they do hold a pretty strong degree of risk, so be careful about that. My 18-year-old nephew bought Tesla, and he's like, yeah, Bitcoin's risky. So wow, everyone, thank you for being here. Thanks for being part of this. Thank you, Trev Beats. Great to see you in here this morning. I don't know. Right? That I don't know. There are some, I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Obviously at this critical juncture, a lot of time has gone into positioning correctly into Bitcoin and also the alts. And I mean, Forex has been alive this summer. The moves we're seeing has been fantastic and so much fun to be riding. There's a lot of waves to be had as we continue in this environment. But right now, let's continue looking at the Japanese yen. This is really important. So the picture that I'm painting is that, yeah, the yen just broke down versus important sport versus the dollar. It's a dollar story. It's not a yen story. It's a dollar story, right? You're seeing, so let's take a look at some other pairs though versus the yen. All right, let's take a look. And we're going to be looking towards kind of where the yen, all right, here's a good chart over here. Let's go back to March. Can we get March in the picture? This is when the yen, during the crisis, the height of the crisis, the yen was the strongest versus everything. So we're going to be looking for, as we look at the yen, is this area over here. Is it possible, by the way, that we're going to see a turn in things, in meaning the markets are going to catch up to the direction of the economy? That's a serious concern and needs to be a serious concern. My base case is that if that does happen, that the reaction of the Fed and or governments, not and also perhaps governments, are going to be swift and strong, right? We're looking at adding a lot of further stimulus through the end of the year, as well as that Treasury continues holding on a record $1.9 trillion. That money's going to work. That money's going to work. So are we going to see a stronger or a weaker yen? Would the yen be the first thing to price in a turn in the global? I'm strongly towards that risk on camp, and I remain firmly towards that risk. I haven't seen any warning signs. So to me, this is not the yen is strong today. This is a buying perhaps opportunity for the yen, right? Until proven stronger further. If you look at the Australian dollar, Japanese yen, as you come into this era, I can't imagine personally shorting that. This is since the March low, and this does not look like something that I'd want. Would I want to buy off of a hold of this trend line? 100%. That's a strong, good entry, right? Over here into the resistance at 76.68, right? And hopefully, and ultimately, probably this breaks upwards. Now, if this breaks down, do you become cautionary? Well, you'd be looking to buy into that support over here at 74.66. Right, for sure. Now, if you broke that, then you're probably looking for a breakdown of this trend line over here. That's not a good sign. If this trend line also broke down over here, if you got below this area over here, at that point, you'd want to be attacking the Australian dollar to Japanese yen to the downside. That maybe we're seeing a potential shift in global macro, and we're running into some type of trouble, which is a complete possibility. But that's not happening right now, right? That's not what we're looking for. It's kind of similar what we would need to see happening on the S&P, just so everyone's aware, because everyone has been watching that trend line, right? It's a break of that area right here, this trend line, and that support at 31.23 that would say, oh, maybe we're running into some trouble, right? But that's not what's happening right now. We continue to remain super bullish on equities, even though I think they're quite risky. And then also into this support over here. Those are buying opportunities for equities. What about the NQ? Here's the NQ, and I mean that's not weak. Are we experiencing weakness? No. Did we come off a little bit? Yeah. You have to you have to look for what the long-term macro trend here is, and you have to assume that trend is going to continue, and you want to be looking to buy off pullbacks. So, right, silver, I mean, everyone positioned strong back over here into the support down over here towards $17. Everyone positioned, same thing now, right now, right? You're into resistance. You're not looking to buy silver. Are you looking to buy pullbacks of silver? Of course, right? Do we see steeper pullbacks of silver than on gold? Yes. Could we see a 5% pullback on silver? Sure. Could we see a 7% pullback? If we pulled back into that resistance over here, a 5.6% pullback on silver, for me, that's a buying opportunity. As are any. Will you see on gold now a 5% pullback? That would be a big pullback on gold. Anything between 3 and 5%, I think, is a buying opportunity. 3% pullback takes you back into 1879. And a 5% pullback would take you, all right, 5% will take us down towards, let's call it 1840, 1843. Those are buying opportunities in my opinion on gold. Now, Bitcoin is going to be different. Like I said, once we break this 10,400, the resistance over here, is that happening today? Well, I don't know when it happens. But when it happens, right, if I'm going to look for another entry over here on a successful retest of that level 10,400 and a resumption up, because I believe the next test from there is 14,000, right? 14,000. And 30% pullbacks. But once we get to 14,000, once we do get, and I don't know how long that could take months, right? It could take months. But when we get to 14,000, from there, at that point on, I'll be buying any any 15, 20, 30% pullback on Bitcoin, around those areas, I'll be looking for entries for the rest of the next, foreseeable year or so on Bitcoin. So is there something wrong with that's how the Bitcoin sees, here it is over here. If you go to indicators and you pull up, by the way, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you all had a good weekend. So happy to be looking at these markets with you. This is how the true trend BTC looks. There's only the trend CCI. That's how it's used. It does not include the entry CCI. All right. So the way that I look at GBTC, and by the way, not investment advice whatsoever. I'm not an investment advisor, but for myself, for friends and family, GBTC inside of maybe a 401k or Roth IRA makes a lot of sense. It's a long-term investment. On Bitcoin, looking to invest through this bull market cycle would just begun. I'll continue to look to accumulate Bitcoin up until $20,000-$30,000, right? So if you're able to at any point add to your GBTC under $20,000, $30,000, seems like a good thing to do. Obviously, looking to exit that trade when it's time to exit, and we have over here our map that will be looking how many more months to next halving, when it's time to get out, and then when it's going to be time to get back in. That dark green dot at 15 lined up both times almost perfectly. That's the map, right? So yeah, so I'm not here to give anyone take profit targets, entries, or anything like that at any time. What Max, for real, all I could do is provide the best analysis of what's going on in the markets, and try to get as many people on the right side of the market, by them doing their analysis off of mine, right? This is a take profit area, in my opinion, on silver. That was our plan. That was a take profit area. That's awesome. Thanks for being here all the time. I don't know. For sure, I'm the least person who I won't speak about them because I don't know anything about them. Either Tezos or Linked. I don't know anything about them. I truly do not. I know that there's some huge trust over in Switzerland that had enormous problems 4 years ago on Tezos. That's all I know about the project. In Ethereum, I know a lot about Ethereum, and I don't believe that Ethereum works out in the long term by any means whatsoever. So these are highly speculative investments. Any type of altcoin is a highly speculative investment. That means there's a high degree of reward and also risk. I don't equate Bitcoin in that same category. Of course, Bitcoin is risky, as is buying the Nasdaq. But I think it's one of the best investments that could be had at this particular time. Thank you, Miguel, for that. I appreciate that. I haven't had a chance to be able to look at the comments, and I'm not going to because I'm going over the charts over here. I'm going to continue doing that so that we can continue to put in the work over here, because there's a lot to get into. We haven't got into any FX, and we're going to blow through the charts right now on this Monday to get a strong feeling of where we are. Everyone has a strong understanding of where we are right now across the major markets, right? We've looked at everything, we've given everything, and everything's work. Everyone is positioned accordingly, and that's why we're here. So let's start with the Euro Swiss Franc. Let's start with the Euro Swiss Franc, which is broken also a nice trend line over here this morning. All right, I guess I need to start on the 3-day over here. Look at that trend line. I was watching this like a hawk, that trend line over here. There was a failed breakout over here, and there we had another opportunity over here. So I was watching that trend line over here, looking at the Euro Swiss Franc coming off of this support, and it was a beautiful, beautiful entry. And then it broke. That happened right now on the Euro Swiss Franc, on the Euro US dollar. That was my same entry and my first long entry on both, right as they came into the breakout. So that's nice. I feel really like really I don't know what to say. Like if you're a baseball player that's really dialed in, right? You got like a really strong bat, you're just seeing the ball really clearly, you know. And that's nice. So what's possible potential take profits on this one right now? Unfortunately, the trade already took a small piece of profit because it went so far so quickly. And here I am. So I guess on the upside, what becomes interesting is a break of this peak. Last time this should be resistance right now. We're probably maybe drawn up towards. This would probably be where I'd be looking to take profit in this area if we came up to 1.9656. That looks like a nice strong area of resistance. Gold does not have strong support right now at all. Gold could experience a 3 to 5% pullback at any time right now. There's no entry on gold, in my opinion, until we do pull back 3 to 5% from wherever the high. We could, if this gold goes up to 2100, I still would not buy it here. More, right? Assuming you're holding physical gold, right? I would not buy for trading wise. I would not buy any more gold until it pulled back 3 to 5%. This is now becoming a very strong move. Now looking for an area as we come into the all-time highs. Gold has made all-time highs. That's huge news in itself. Gold making all-time highs against the dollar is huge news. That's fantastic. Exciting to see. US dollar Mexican peso we were looking at last week. I hope some people got into this as we came into that trend line. That was the area to lean in again. I had leaned in over here against this rejection of the trend line. And we were looking for a possible breakdown of the support over here at 2216. We're breaking down today, so this opens up possible further entries if you're able to go ahead and confirm that broken support as resistance and resume down in the further. What are you targeting right now? 2160 in that 2170 in that area, or perhaps even a test of 2150. So yeah, and again, this is that risk on trade that I've been talking about. This is probably one of the most aggressive against the dollar in FX, but I think the best thing obviously to be trading against the dollar with is right now Bitcoin, silver, and gold. Let's see what happens today with the markets. This is the plan here for the equity markets. There's no potential shorting opportunities right now. We don't try to pick tops, and there's just simply the risk to reward is not there whatsoever. This is looking to buy right off of the support. That's looking to buy off of that support. Breakdown over here. All right, then we have the opportunity here to start playing the downside and or being concerned. At that point, we would be seeing a move in probably to the Japanese yen and to risk on assets, including the US dollar. But it is a dollar story and remains so. And right now we're seeing a big move against the dollar. Support levels are being taken out. You're seeing that playing on the euro US dollar, breaking this 12-year resistance to the upside. If that holds, right, we're looking for entries. An entry won't be until there's some type of pullback, consolidation, and resumption out now on the euro US dollar. But that is a viable trade this week, one to look for. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to yellow light that. Australian dollar, US dollar, again, buying off supports. Entry was down here, right? Entry is down there, buying off support. Does this look like it's got room to go up further? What's going on over here is pretty strong resistance over there where my mouse is, where it got stopped out. You can see it over there, right? If this breaks above that resistance, where is this going, right? It's got some movement in it. Now, this is priced back to before the crisis right now. We're trading at levels that we were at the beginning of the year, even higher back in January right now on the Australian dollar. Are things better or much worse? But what we're pricing in here is a stimulus, and that's being priced into commodities. That's why the Australian dollar is outperforming right now. Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, I'm looking on the 3-day here. I'll look at the 3-day right now as these moves are extended. And then if something becomes interesting, I'll drop down to the 8-hour so we could look for where potential setups and entries are. So right now, again, this break of this resistance over here tested and flipped into support was obviously the entry on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar coming into resistance. You have to wait for any type of pullbacks right now into support, right? So that was the last opportunity over here. There's no opportunity happening today that we could be of interest. Australian dollar, Swiss franc, you could see it also, right? Just keep it really simple. Buy off support, sell off resistance. Australian dollar, we looked at this one good, and this looks like the S&P 500. It looks like it's strong. It resembles it pretty strongly. Not exactly, because the S&P is making a higher high than its June high. Why the Australian dollar, Japanese yen has not. It's made a double touch. But above this trend line, super bullish. This is where you're leaning into buy, as well as a pullback into the 74.66 support. This does not become interesting to the downside until we break down right over here, coming in around 73.40. So this is really bullish. Again, I need to. Did you see? I saw his interview with Trump, and it was nice. It was outstanding. What was pretty awesome about Dave is that he was on some type of news show, and they asked him about sports, and he got really honestly offended. He's like, "How could you ask me about sports and not the markets when I have a better track record since the crisis than anyone on Wall Street?" He's not wrong, you know. He felt offended, so it was nice to see him get a nice interview. How many times is too many times when it comes to the Fed expanding the balance sheet? Juan, they have a long way to go before that becomes a question. When that becomes a question, simply there'll be a loss of faith in the US dollar. That will get priced in real quick. Where would that get priced in? Gold, Bitcoin, right? Obviously, we have those positions on. That's not happening right now. The Fed has a lot of room. I think it would need to get somewhere between around $30 trillion for the Fed to be in proportion to where the Bank of Japan is. So we have a lot of room. Could you draw an upwards trend line back to 2011 on the DXY, which is being tested today? Touches 2011, 14, and 2018. The Fed looking to run things hot, that's for sure, Wes. The Fed is looking to run things hot. They've admitted it. They said it. There's going to be more printing of the dollar. That's why we're seeing the dollar weaken. Let me pull up. Going back to 2011. Is that what we heard? Let's see. So are we touching it? Let me see if I see any trend line, and then we could take a look at it. I mean, it's so subjective. I didn't have one in here, so I can't really do this. Not this one. I'm going to try to get one in here, and then I'm going to clone it and bring it down to find out where that is. Yeah, I think we broke it. I think we broke a trend line today on the DXY. I'm not sure who left that. Here we go. Hector Van Queef. You know, I think we broke an important trend line on the DXY as we broke down important support levels. We've already looked down over here as a possible, around towards 90 as a possible extension of this move. How quickly that happens or anything like that, I have no idea. This looks technically, though, as we're seeing across the board, like we could see further weakness against the dollar. And, this is a big breakout. This is a huge breakout over here, right? So listen, until things change, we're uber bear. I don't even like saying it, but I am. You all know that I have gotten us. Uber bearish on the dollar. But it's a dollar story. We'll leave it at that. Let's continue looking around FX. Let's see what's going on over here. This is the Swiss Franc, Japanese yen, which you're seeing a big move today. We're seeing that yen strength today, but longer term, not in my opinion. This looks like we're coming down into, well, that's relative. Against the dollar, yes. I think we have the potential even to test down towards 100 now on the US dollar, Japanese yen after breaking that important support level today. We broke this important support level here at 105.70 today on the dollar. Of course, we got some work to do. We got to clear 104.57. You could see over here that resistance. But is it possible we come down towards 101 over here, towards 100? Yep, that looks like that's possible right now. U.S. dollar, Swiss franc, towards a pretty important area over here. If it breaks down over here too, we could see a big further extension against the dollar. I wanted to go back and look at the Swiss franc, Japanese yen over here. This looks like a pullback into an area of interest over here, a interest of support. This is the first, if you get a successful resumption off here, area now to look for an entry here on the Swiss franc, Japanese yen. That's a possible entry. Let me highlight it. I'll come back and take a look at it. The euro, Australian dollar, you're seeing really a nice break now against this important resistance level at 1.6365. That's interesting. So the break of this trend line, by the way, then, the break of that trend line over here, this was a failure, right? And there was an entry over there. If you took it, it was a failure. But since we broke out over here, and this is still right now a retest, this looks great now, making new highs over here. I think you begin buying. I think at this point you begin buying off of support now on the euro Australian dollar. Long term, is that in a downtrend, uptrend? Well, that's kind of sideways, but the break of this trend line over here is now set off. I believe further, buy side trades looking to buy off support on the euro Australian dollar, but nothing looks very attractive right now. So keep going. Find out what does. Euro, Canadian, wow, that's a rocket. If anyone is involved in that, please let me know. All right. Euro Swiss franc, we looked at that one. That continues to break out here. We're seeing a break of trend lines. Really, really multi-year trend lines occurring all over the place. The reason for it is the huge action by the Federal Reserve back in March, right? We're seeing the consequences now developing and beginning. Euro, British pound. This is not exciting for me or something that I want to trade. I don't know what's going on between, Brexit and yada, yada, yada. I don't see any opportunity there whatsoever. Euro, Japanese yen. This is also tracking right now, the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. It looks better than the Dow, but worse than the S&P because the S&P is making higher highs, and we're testing them here again. But again, come down on the 8-hour, put in the March lows over here or the lows of the yen, and I can't see shorting this. I can't see shorting this whatsoever, or even beginning to look for an opportunity to short this at this time. So if we see this for some reason, things change again. This continues to look for buys as though I do for the equity markets. I'm curious to what happens in August, as seasonally the first few weeks of August are you see a down drift in the equity markets, right? What I think that looks like, and I'm hoping that we hit a 33, take profit over here at 33.20 on another impulse up. Before that, but I'm curious to see if we do see some type of slow drift down, consolidation, without not too volatile into the support area over here, and that might be, or maybe even the support over here. That might be looking at 32, 33, a test of that. If we're able to take profit of 33.21 and consolidate in that area back to the end of August, that would be a place that I would strongly be looking to possibly think about taking a position on equities. August could be dicey. All right. So, by the way, please go ahead, smash that like button if you have not already and are enjoying the live stream. I know I am, because the markets are so beautiful right now. We're looking at the Nasdaq up 1.4%, getting a little bit of a jump in its step, seeing that further weakness on the dollar trading at its lows again of the session, seeing that strongly trend down on the dollar. And we're getting ready for Bitcoin to test the 10,400. I would not be surprised if Bitcoin bursted through 10,400. We haven't seen a big candle yet on Bitcoin, and it could definitely burst through here. And again, 14,000 becomes the next area of interest. I believe 14,000 and or that area, all right, is going to be where we run into a little bit of resistance and our first pullback on Bitcoin. That's also a pullback that you'll want to be picking up Bitcoin if possible. Nice to see Ethereum, right? And again, Ethereum, let's just say I believe in Ethereum more than I believe in XRP, but I'm investing in it. I gave a proper allocation for these cryptocurrencies for highly speculative assets of your overall portfolio. And again, unless you're an expert in cryptocurrency and projects, you should probably stick to those, depending on your age. I don't have any type of end of year targets for Ethereum. I could give an end of year target on Bitcoin because I know what it is. I know I have researched the Bitcoin market. I understand Bitcoin. I don't have any idea on Ethereum that I could offer. I could just trade it as it's happening, right? I picked off my first entry into Ethereum was into this support over here. That was my first entry into Ethereum, and I added to the position, and I will not add again until we have a substantial pullback on Ethereum, and I don't even know what that is yet right now. I don't even have any idea what that is. Let's say, for example, that's a 50% pullback in a bull market. That's not a bull market, right? Let's see. 38%. All right. So is it probably like safely 30% pullbacks? I don't know. I have no idea. I'll let you know as it happens. We're talking a big trade here in time frame. This is an investment, right? This is an investment around the altcoin cycle. That's not what we do day to day, racking up pips in FX, on the 8-hour time frame. Completely different, but it's all relevant. So, I just want everyone. I don't know. I'm not, John, I'm not one that has the insight to be able to talk about negative rates. I'll only talk about what I know and could offer any type of insight to the conversation. And that's really technical analysis, right? Of course, I have a really, with all of you, that's solid view of the macro. That's where I focus on, right? But it's the TA really where I could share what's going on. Putting those two together really help keep you on the right side of the flow of the market here, on a day-to-day basis, as well as that longer, where's the bigger current? What are the market trends? We're all over them. Let me pause here for a second, take a little sip of this. Let me go with some matcha tea for a second. By the way, that's what I wanted to talk about over here, Linked and Tezos. And, I don't know anything about these projects. I'm going to be very clear about that. I don't know anything about these projects. There are some really good videos you could find on these projects from a lot of people who really research them, if that's your thing. It's not mine, right? Mine is Bitcoin. I know and understand Bitcoin. But either which way, there is an investment here. It's a speculative investment. You have to train yourself on pullbacks to buy. Right now, as you're entering, when I'm talking about Bitcoin, I'm talking about gold, I'm talking about silver, and I'm talking about altcoins. If you believe we're entering in all of those markets, this bull phase, and I believe it's just getting started. Gold just hit new all-time highs versus the dollar. That's what we were looking for all year long. And now from here where it goes, we're looking at much higher prices. So either which way, back to Linked, if you're looking for these, when it's up here trading at 8.7 is not when you want to buy, right? When you had that, and there were two of the people in the Telegram group on a Saturday who bought this pullback in Link off this support over here at around, call it 6. There were two of them that same day watching that on a Saturday because FX was closed. But you don't buy up here. You then wait for the pullback in that bull market resumption up, get yourself in. Boom, 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 boom. Mate. It's ceremonial grade matcha tea. It is absolutely fantastic. Monks drink it, they sip it all day to maintain that really level caffeine. But whereas espresso and or American coffee, which is stronger than espresso, obviously, goes spike up and then down, is more of a level up. At this point in silver, it's take profits and it's wait now for a pullback. You don't even if silver goes from 24 and breaks the resistance over here to the upside, if it breaks this resistance, which is the take profit, and then confirms that as support and resumes up, then you could continue getting long on silver. You have to now wait for it to break the 2450 resistance, confirm it as support, and resume up to get long silver, or you're waiting for a pullback on silver. You're waiting for at least, you're looking for a 5% pullback, I think, minimum on silver before getting into it otherwise. So, good to be here with you. Altcoins have been rallying. So trading is all about time preference, which is why we trade the 8-hour time frame in FX, because it's the easiest and the best time frame to swing trade. What you're asking, why are altcoins not rallying with Bitcoin? It's similar to the way that gold and silver works, where gold goes first. Gold does the hard work. You can see gold over here is trading at all-time highs. Silver is not. Silver is lagging. But after gold does the hard work, silver catches up and appreciates more. That's what you see happen in Bitcoin. Bitcoin does the hard work, and then then money profit taking comes out of Bitcoin, flows into the altcoins. That pumps them up. Usually it goes through the large cap first, like Ethereum and Litecoin, XRP, EOS. And from there goes down to mid caps like Linked and Tezos and Monero, and then goes into the small caps. So, but all of altcoins are rallying. If you don't think altcoins are rallying, you're looking at the long time frame. You could even look at Linked down 8%, but I mean that market's straight up and to the right. This is now taking its pullback, consolidating. This is where if you're interested in the project, you're looking to buy. If we do a close up on Bitcoin, oh my goodness, you must be. I feel like I've seen you before, but then you must be new. Everyone should have a really strong understanding of what's going on Bitcoin over here, right? As we broke here this trend line over here over the weekend. Just yesterday, that started the bull market on Bitcoin. When I say that, you go back over here and you go back to this trend line. I was showing because to celebrate Bitcoin actually going on the bull. I told come on, you're not excited? Bitcoin just entered the bull market. And, I put on a couple of my Bitcoin videos for her so she could see and understand what I was talking about with the 4-year cycle. And she loved it. And she understood right away. And my wife does not have an interest per se in finance. But you could see this trend line over here coming back from the all-time high. And you could see that we just broke that for the first time. Confirmation is going to be a break of this 10,400, this resistance we have right over here. I called it beforehand. I called it over here, right? I called it when Bitcoin was at 9,000. I said, all right, now if it breaks the trend line at 9,800, the bull market has begun. We don't need to wait for 10,400 anymore because we've moved so far down, right? At this area, it was 10,400. Either which way, now at this point, what are you doing? You're waiting for a break of 10,400 and then to get into Bitcoin if you didn't pick up off here, and anyone looking should have been, right? That's our textbook setup. Breakout, retest, resumption. Same thing. Wait for the breakout, retest, resumption to get long Bitcoin off a successful test of 10,400. That is a fantastic entry on Bitcoin, a fantastic entry in Bitcoin. From there, we're looking at 14,000. Once we break 10,400, the next target becomes 14,000. From 14,000, my next entry on Bitcoin will be a 20 and or 30% pullback on Bitcoin going forward. How long we've been online? 1 hour. Great to be here with you all. Happy Monday. By the way, please smash that like button. Thanks for being here. We had 800 people in here today. A lot of people in here today, 800. And 400 likes already, so that's pretty good. Friday's video, the ratio of likes to the amount of people in there was insane. So many. Happy Monday. Happy Monday indeed. Happy Monday. And looking forward, the markets have been phenomenal. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to see gold trading at all-time highs versus the dollar now, right? It's beautiful. Beautiful to see, right? Envision in your mind, you know, that next target. What is it? 2,400? Where are we going? Silver making some big moves. After silver breaks this resistance over here, not that it's going to now, I'm looking for that pullback. If it does, the next target is around $29, $30 on silver. $29.48 on silver, whatever that, you know, call it 29. That becomes the next target on silver. You know, how quickly will we get there? At the pace that we're seeing silver move right now, it's entirely feasible that happens this year. It's entirely feasible that happens this year. Now, all as I know is that I'm just looking to buy off pullbacks. Thank you, Model 3 Life. Thanks for being such a great influence and positive support in this community. I'm truly grateful for you. Thank you, Joe. Let me put on some music. Did y'all? If anyone enjoyed the look at the yen today, because that came up in the Conquering the Markets group earlier, Telegram group. Please hit that like button or just write in there yen or whatever. I did, but that's the way I see it. You know, and I don't care what any other Bitcoin YouTuber says, because none has been on as closely as I have been to Bitcoin. There's not a single Bitcoin YouTuber who knows Bitcoin better than I do. That's my honest opinion. Now there are many more who understand Bitcoin and its technical nature, its technology, its software. And there are many who understand many nuances of Bitcoin by far greater. I can't even stand in a room with them. That's for sure. That's for sure. Thanks, Gene. I appreciate that. I want to go out with some music over here. So let's turn this on over here. Yeah, if you don't believe it, it's true. It's absolutely true. There's not another YouTuber who understands the 4-year cycle of Bitcoin and technically is able to position in and out of it as I am. There's no question about that in my mind. That's what it's about. It's just about helping this analysis help you see the market more clearly, which helps improve your trading. It just works. It works. You got it. Thanks for being here. Bitcoin is not in a bubble yet. Jordan Belford's, who is that guy? He doesn't know anything about Bitcoin. He's right. Thank you, Miguel. I know it. We know it. That's all that matters. And anyone who's joining us today for the first time, just, you know, here's what we do. We go over the markets together. I listen, Kips, you know, for whatever reason, I try to, you know, I'm a humble guy. There's no question about that. But if people are asking, you know, whatever the case when it comes to other Bitcoin on YouTubers, I have no interest. That's the truth. Breakout, retest, resumption. That was the theme today. Nailing the theme. Listen, I felt like I was programmed. I bought toilet paper back in February, enough for the months. Why did I do that? Max, we don't have any PayPal option, only through the conquertrades.com website. If you email me, I'll send you the exact link on the website to where that is. Thank you so much for being here with us all the time. Added so much. I appreciate that very much. Is 2 Bitcoin enough for the next bull market? There's never enough Bitcoin for the bull market cycle. If you had 0.1 Bitcoin for the next bull market cycle, that's enough, right? All relative. Thank you for that. I enjoy doing it with you all the time. Glad to have you with us, for sure. That's Mel. That's what we're trying to do, is help each other out. That's all we're trying to do, is help each other out. All right. Will, feels good to be on the right. It's going to feel a lot better. It's going to feel a lot better when we come to take profit on this trade. Kips, by the way, is the Palladium master. For sure. He's been on that trade for a long time. Good luck to everyone on their trades. 500 likes. Thank you all. God bless you all. Thank you so much for sharing this experience with me, this journey through the markets every day. It's a great passion of mine if you haven't noticed. I absolutely loved it. Happy to share it with you all. So, great session. I enjoyed it so much. Tony, thanks for always being there, showing your support on the YouTube comments. Always enjoy reading them. Welcome to the Bitcoin Bull 2020. We called it. We couldn't have been called any better. Nah, thank you all. You guys are all. It's the community here that is a bright light, and I'm grateful for it. Thank you. Yeah, Crown is pretty good. I agree with that. If you're into altcoins and everything like that, then Crown is probably where you should go. Data Dash also, if you're looking for like different type of like technical aspects of a crypto project, maybe might be a source. Crown for technical analysis. Yeah, Jesse's working on them, but we really need a good graphics. It has to be a t-shirt that we all want. I would love to wear one, but it's got to be cool looking. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I just want to keep everyone on the right side of these markets. Max, have a beautiful day. Right? Definitely. Thank you for being here today, everybody. Greatly. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for smashing that like button too. Right? Listen, this is probably the comment of the day. If you don't know, that's okay. Hit the subscribe button. Follow us. Watch a few of the replay of the most recent videos. You'll have the best understanding of gold. See you tomorrow. Definitely. Thanks for being here today, Connor. Nope. I don't know anything about Wycliffe. I just don't. I don't. God bless you too. This is coming from artist.io, and it's Honeymoon instrumental version. Have a beautiful day, everyone. Thanks for the time. I'll see you tomorrow.